One of the standout improvements to Ozone 6 is the inclusion of the dynamic EQ module. So I'll explain what it is and then look at it in action. Now, to be fair, you might initially wonder why there is the inclusion of the dynamic EQ when there already exists an Equalizer module. Well, as its name indicates, there is a fundamental operating functional difference between the two. The normal Equalizer module is set manually by us and remains static during playback. If it's set to attenuate a particular frequency area, it will do that consistently during track playback. But by contrast, the dynamic EQ responds in real time to a specified threshold point that we set and only then processes that part of the signal, in fact up to 4 bands. As an example, if a snare hit goes above our determined threshold and within a specified frequency range that we set, the compression settings will kick in. I'll talk about compression. We could also expand this. Anyway, like the Equalizer module, you can run the dynamic EQ in analog or digital mode. Analog offers us a classic analog flavor to the compression, whereas operating in the digital mode, a more clinical transparent sound is achieved. So here's the process. We would choose a filter type, and we can do this for up to 4 bands, choosing a filter type for any of those. Then, the second thing, adjust the frequency and the gain by clicking on any of the band nodes and either dragging sideways, up or down, or expanding with those handles. If you want to quickly get back to the nominal level, use your Alt key and click on the node, and that snaps it back. Next, we would adjust the threshold to dictate the amount of compression to be applied to the set EQ band that we last select, and as I say, this can be different for all frequency bands. Then the next thing we might want to do is adjust the attack. The attack, as I'm sure you can work out, affects the compressor attack time, whereas release, well, this releases the compression's release time. However, when you have this set to auto scale, Ozone automatically sets the attack and the release for us, and is optimized ideally for the current frequency set for that particular band. Well, that's all the theory and how we set it up. Let's look at it in action now. I'll start playback of this song and go through the options. Here we go.
Always a smile on a pretty face, but if you look into her eyes, you'll see that they can't hide all the tears she has cried. Too many promises turn to lies. All those promises left us scared and all alone. Far too late when she realized. So even though she smiles, her wrinkles round her eyes. All those promises left us scared and all alone.
Okay, great stuff. That's the dynamic EQ module, which rather than being static, makes the compression or expansion of certain frequency bands sonically responsive and elastic to the frequency bands that we set.